My struggles with beauty came especially around the time that I started experiencing puberty, or you stink, and you know, not the nicest words to hear, but he was being honest. I know I'm not your typical beauty. Dealing with your insecurities is very different from suppressing them, brushing them aside. Hi guys, welcome to the Mo Chunk Show. Hope you are doing great. Welcome to another Chit Chat with Chunky segment. These are the segments, as you may or may not know, that we talk about, you know, real stuff, that we talk about what's going on in the world of today, stuff that affects us as females and males of, you know, the youth of today and how we, you know, are developing as human beings. I'm just going to jump straight in and say that this topic is something that I have touched upon on my channel before. I feel as though God has laid it on my heart to revisit this topic due to a situation that happened, and just try and pull out of it something very, very new and a different angle on the whole idea of beauty and self-confidence. So this is Let's Talk Beauty and Self-Confidence 2. Stay tuned and enjoy. My struggles with beauty came especially around the time that I started experiencing puberty. And during my puberty, one of the biggest changes that occurred to me was the fact that I had a lot of acne. My acne was so bad. I had super big spots and I had a lot of blackheads, and I'm the kind of person that when my spots do eventually clear up, they leave a scar or blemish, a lot of which I still have even till today. They're a lot more faded, but when I was going through puberty around that 13, 14, 15 time, it was so bad. Apart from the acne, I smelled so bad, guys, as in there was no amount of washing my armpit or no amount of putting deodorant on that was going to take that smell away. And the fact that I was quite overweight as well, I think that sort of like added to it. So you can imagine fat, smelly, acne, not the most attractive teenager around. Since that my family liked to remind me of it because I guess they cared about me and they didn't obviously want me to look a certain way. They didn't want me to smell, but a lot of the time, like they would point out like, oh, like I remember one time my dad especially said, oh, just look at your face, like there's so much. And I think he was saying that because I used to use a lot of like products, so I believe he believed that that was the cause of it. Like it was, and possibly it was making my skin react even more. Things like Clearasil, Neutrogena, all that good stuff. You know, if you've ever struggled with acne, you know what I'm talking about. And the thing about the smell, like my brother used to like tease me like, oh, you stink, and you know, not the nicest words to hear, but he was being honest, and obviously I knew I smelled a little, but there was really nothing I could do about it. So for me, puberty overall was not pleasant, right? I was quite an outgoing person and quite an outspoken person, so I believe a lot of people that, you know, from my secondary school that might watch this video might think, what, Mo was not confident? But I'm telling you right now, the loudest people are normally the people that hold a lot of insecurities. I've always been quite the achiever, you know, it's always for me been brains over beauty. So even when my spots did clear up by the time I got into secondary school, I never really tried. I think the first time that people actually saw me wearing makeup properly, probably at prom. I always had very beautiful friends and they were always light skinned and I was always the darker one. They were usually from Zimbabwe as well, so I was associated Zimbabwe light skinned girls with beauty and Nigerian dark skinned girls with ugliness in my head as a young girl. There was never really a time that a boy liked me in secondary school the way they liked them. So again, these were the reasons why I believed they were more beautiful than I was. Came even down to prom. I had two light-skinned best friends. They both had dates for the prom and I didn't. These were all things that were building up and building up and building up. Would come up again every now and again and just remind me of the fact that I was not good enough. Right, of course, as a lot of us, I started to discover weave, makeup, highlight and contour. In my last beauty and self-confidence video, I talked about one of the biggest things for me was my nose. I never liked my nose. And highlight and contour came, what? I can change my nose now? That was when, for me, I guess, I started to grow in confidence. That is something that I'm realizing now was never really confidence. That fake glow up began and my confidence began to grow. But alongside the whole glow up thing, I feel like my face was actually changing naturally. My nose didn't seem to be taking up the whole of my face anymore. My features started to sort of like take shape. As it does, you grow up and you look better majority of the time. But one of the things that never changed was something that I'm sure a lot of women of color can relate to. But there's a thing called hyperpigmentation. It can be quite difficult at times coming to terms with it because the light might not let you see properly right now, but it will become very clear later on in the video what I mean. My hands and the rest of my body is actually a lot lighter than my natural face. I actually got like almost a staggered line as to where my hyperpigmentation starts and stops. You can see there's a darker patch and then a lighter region, and that's actually what the rest of my body looks like. For me, wearing makeup, quite difficult because you do get questions sometimes. When I wore foundation that matched my neck, people would, are you wearing such dark foundation? Now I wear MAC NC15. I now match my foundation to the rest of my body. Sometimes you do take pictures and quite clearly you can see, if I don't blend my foundation quite well, that there is a difference between my neck and my face. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna try and paraphrase this so I don't go into too much detail. So I was taking part in an event, Valentine's showcase event. I played blind date. I saw the guy that was coming out and I was just thinking, oh shit. Because I'm not saying I'm ugly, but I'm definitely not his type. So when it now came to picking the person I think suits you, there came a point when the crowd kind of basically peer pressured him into picking number 3, who was myself. So again, I was thinking, oh shit, he wasn't happy about it. Basically, the way he was acting towards me made me feel as though he was highly disappointed. And it was just kind of like, okay, wait, what is the big deal? Like, am I that hideous? You have to behave like that even in front of people. My thoughts were immediately like, I know I'm not your typical beauty. Come on, like, I'm not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. But I have never been made to feel so shit as a human being. I'm very sorry for my language, but that is literally the way I felt. I felt like poo. And then it wasn't until the next day when my friends were kind of talking about it and they were like, I don't understand why he was behaving like that, and like even the fact that, oh, it might have been that his friends were playing a little bit of a joke that they were all in on, and it was just kind of like, raw, okay, hold on. This might actually have been even more violation than I thought it was. And I remember calling my sister and I was just crying and crying, and that was when I started to revisit a lot of my memories with my sister. And I remember my sister saying to me, please Moa, you just got over your anxiety, come back to earth. And that was the moment when I realized that, you know what, Mo, you have some insecurities that you have not actually dealt with, because nobody should make you feel like that if truly you are confident within yourself. At 20, I finally realized I'm not truly confident. Dealing with your insecurities is very different from suppressing them, brushing them aside. As much as I can go out without makeup, and if someone says something to me about the way I look, how do I then feel about myself? Do I remain confident in who I am? So, where am I going with this? I want us to help each other out. Sister to sister, girl to girl, even guy to guy. I mean, girl to, I'm a girl. This is not beauty, really and truly. It looks good and it is beautiful, but the real beauty, you know, your real face, so your real face, let's not forget that it lies underneath. Really and truly, becoming oneself is about finding that confidence even without all of this. I want to break down all these walls, right? In a second, I'm going to take all of this off. I wrote this short piece and I hope it speaks to you. Beauty. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but who can behold the real me? The real me? I think I love you, but I know they don't. You're buried deep, deep inside the wrong foundations of societal standards, built on years and years of teaching me to conceal myself, which caused me not to accept the real me. I know you don't feel like it, but you're beautiful. You feel like this shade has been cast over you. You really want to see the light. Skin, sweet brown, but there's bitterness in your eyes. I can see the pain you carry deep, deep within. But that's also where your beauty lies. Your beauty is more than the exterior. Your beauty is you. Your beauty is the woman you have become. Your beauty is the woman you will evolve into. Your beauty is the woman that can never fade away. Imperfections to them, but perfection in the sight of God. Your Heavenly Father took time to mold you, yes you, every skin and bone, or is it every flesh and roll, yes you. Every scar, every freckle, placed specially to mark you for you. Your beauty is you. Wipe every tear, forget every fear, you're beautiful. See, true beauty is not what they see. True beauty is how you feel about yourself. And today, I accept me. I hope one day you find your peace and chunks. Until next time.